Thom Tillis will not seek re-election. The decision comes a day after he and another Republican voted against President Trump's big, beautiful bill. Tillis calls the measure a massive mistake. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie will have that story in just a moment. We begin our team coverage, though, with Michelle McConaughey in the WRAL Live Center. And Michelle, a live picture of the Capitol there where Republicans are voting on unlimited amendments.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. The Senate voting right now on amendments to the Republican domestic policy bill, a policy known on Capitol Hill as a vote-a-rama. That essentially is a process in which senators, they can offer an unlimited number of amendments. Now, this is known as the big, beautiful bill. A lot of people are familiar with that term. It's aimed at funding much of President Trump's agenda. It's not clear how long this vote-a-rama will take, but the House of Representatives has been advised to expect votes on the bill as early as Wednesday morning. Republican congressional leaders hope to have that bill on the president's desk by July 4th. And with more on Senator Tillis' decision to not run again, let's toss things over to Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie. Laura.
We're here outside of Thom Tillis' office here in Raleigh. You know, after 2 terms in the Senate and after having announced that he was going to run again and announcing his campaign staff, Thom Tillis abruptly changed course yesterday and announced that he was out of the race because he says there's no room for independent voices in the Senate anymore. The announcement came after, as you said, Tillis voted against the one big, beautiful bill, which is, of course, the centerpiece of President Trump's agenda. Tillis said on the Senate floor that the president had been given bad information about what the bill would actually do, including cutting hundreds of thousands of North Carolinians off the Medicaid rolls. He said he wasn't trying to undercut the president. He was trying to help the GOP in 2026.
If we're responsible for moving this bill, I believe that it's going to be a massive mistake. And sooner or later, you got to help the president understand that he's getting a lot of advice from people who have never governed.
We've already seen him taking some positions that are counter to the Republican Party from time to time. I think he's going to accelerate those. I think he is going to be, a problem for Donald Trump, not in terms of electoral politics, but in terms of legislative politics until he's out of office.
That's Western Carolina political scientist Chris Cooper. He said he was very surprised by Tillis' announcement, but said the vote was not actually out of character for him. He's interested to see what Tillis gets up to in the next year and a half. In the meantime, he said more than a dozen names are already floating around out there competing for the president's GOP primary endorsement. Republicans Don Brown and Andy Nilsen had already announced that their plans to challenge Tillis in the primary. Other names we're hearing a lot right now include Congressman Pat Harrington, Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, and Lara Trump's RNC co-chair, Michael Whatley, the former chairman of the state Republican Party. On the other side of the aisle, former Congressman Wiley Nickel has already thrown his hat into the ring. Political observers, of course, are watching to see whether former Governor Roy Cooper also gets into the Democratic race. It's likely to be days or weeks before we have a clearer idea of who's likely to be facing off with whom in the 2026 election. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.